Welcome back to 3 Ps and Dirty Laundry. It's the
Let's go.
Of the century. You guys don't even know. This has been in the works for years.
Yeah. We haven't even had our podcast for a year.
When did you guys launch?
March
of last
year.
year.
So it's
Yeah.
almost a year.
Because they were coming to visit. They were going with the girls down to Chicago for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Yeah. It's
Is
like
it
hectic.
amazing?
Electric,
It
but
was like a
You guys
great
explain.
time.
Yeah, because I feel like I went
It's
in
like
college.
I
and
wouldn't
was
do it again. I think college is like where it was at. It was so fun though because we went with like all of our college friends, but we were like fully like 26, 27 years old, you know. So it was like everyone around us I felt like was college, and they're carrying like huge jugs of alcohol, and like we're just like whoa. Like,
once
but
we made it to Lincoln Park,
Lincoln
it felt
Park was
a little bit more
quieter.
our age, and like it was, the bars were more fun. We were walking instead of taking like the public transportation. The public transportation downtown to like the Green River was like insane,
that was horrible.
but we did it, and it was a fun experience.
Wouldn't do it again, but I do feel like you got to do it at least once.
Yeah.
My dream is to do Dublin someday.
I've done that.
that'd be-
You have?
On St. Patrick's.
Okay,
Oh,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It was very, honestly, it was super
Underwhelming?
fun. It was, everybody was studying abroad at that time. Think about it. Like and everybody's spring break is around then. So like when I went, it was perfect because it was during when all my friends were studying abroad, and we did it to like see everybody. So then I didn't have to go to all the places.
yeah.
So like everybody kind of congregated there, but
Okay.
it was still like, they had a huge parade. I went to, I think it was like Trinity College, which is like, I think it has the oldest like print version of the Bible. It was like a very cool, like I purposely went out of my way with like a couple of my friends to go like
See things?
And it was like a very beautiful old college, but like the parade itself was very hectic, and like it just was a ton of Americans as well, but it was like really fun.
Okay.
And the whole weekend was really fun. The day of was just crazy because it was
Okay.
like not necessarily locals, but everybody coming to town. But it was really fun. I would suggest.
Okay.
Yeah. I would, like, it's definitely
Like
better than Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago just is like,
I mean, you're in Europe.
Okay.
Exactly.
But it was fun. It was fun. But we like came here, filmed our first like an intro episode, and then like
our trailer.
Wow.
our trailer, our first episode, and then we like headed to Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so almost like in 1 month it will be a year.
I know.
Which is
Isn't
so
that crazy?
Yeah.
Nuts.
How long have you been doing yours?
Yeah. Okay. Tell everybody what Dirty Laundry is, how long you've been doing it, like
Yeah.
about yourself, your name, like
Okay.
all the things. Tell us everything.
Okay. I'm Ollie, Olivia, whatever. It depends on where I am. It like in location. Up north, I'm Olivia, and people are like, "Who the heck is Ollie?"
Yep.
And then in Milwaukee, I'm Ollie. So
Yeah.
it's like I have
How
these
did
different
that come to be? Like,
personalities.
did somebody just start calling you that? Like,
So I moved to Milwaukee, and the girl I was gonna move in with, her and I were out one night, and I was like, I think Ollie is just like a really funny name. I was like, should I just start going by Ollie? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then she just started introducing me to everybody as Ollie. And then ultimately the roommate that I ended up rooming with heard that my name was Ollie, and then introduced me to all of her friends as Ollie. And it just
I
like,
didn't even
like
know your name was
stuck.
Olivia until like,
I know you said it, and I was like, I've only known you as Ollie. So I'm like, yeah.
yeah, it's so weird. I have like multiple personality.
I'm
Like,
the same way.
it's like,
When you go home, like your parents are like Olivia, though.
yes, or live.
Liv.
Yeah.
Oh,
funny.
okay.
Yeah, never Ollie.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Everybody knows me as Coco, and then at work or in a professional setting, I'm Colleen.
Right. Does your husband call you Ollie?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not married to Olivia. But yeah, like my
You guys are
family.
fighting. He's like, Olivia.
Yeah. He's like, Olivia Jean. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so funny. And like his parents will be like, is it okay for us to call you Ollie? Like that's how we know. It's like it's sometimes it's like so
It's weird.
awkward. It's weird,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yep.
Yeah.
we
Right.
move through it.
That's so funny.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
and you
Wait, when did you move to Milwaukee?
22.
Okay, because I'm trying to fit because I met you obviously through Andrea.
Yeah, and I feel like it was probably 2023
That you met her.
that I met Andrea. Like I'm trying to think when I started going to that Bible study. Maybe it was fall of 2022 that I started going to that Bible study. I probably met you in 2023.
Yeah.
That seems
Because
about
then
right.
Andrea is how I know Andrea through you guys.
Right.
So it's like
Andrea's the
Andrea's our
connector.
connecting link.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cute. I
Isn't
love
that
it.
super cute?
She's the bridge.
Yep, she is. And so, okay, so then you were here, and then we talked about the podcast like before you started it. You and I did.
Yeah.
When when did it all start?
So I've been thinking about starting a brand for like almost 4 years.
Yep.
And the goal was to create something that incorporated like mental health and storytelling and just like building community. And I thought the easiest place to start was a podcast.
Yep.
Puke. This is the hardest thing I've ever done.
You're such a star. That's hilarious. No, literally iconic.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my word. Like, yeah, making reels, easy.
Yep.
Editing, easy. All of this. And in everything, this is what I tell my husband all the time. Like, everything I'm doing in and of itself, easy.
Yep.
But then when you like bring it all together, holy
Full-time
cow.
job.
It's a
not
full-time
hard.
job.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Insane. But I initially wanted to create the podcast centering around sexual assault and domestic violence. That's very much where my heart is and like why I went into social work and the demographic that I initially wanted to work with. And then as I kind of like was working on vision and mission and what that looked like, I decided to broaden it. So the podcast has seasons and they're all topical. So some of them that I've had, like I'm on the Motherhood season right now, which is what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And I've done like a sexual assault season. I've done childhood healing and development, moral injury. I don't even remember the others.
Yeah.
So wide variety, kind of whatever's coming up. I'm hoping to do a purity culture season.
Oh, wow.
I would love to do like an eating disorder season.
Yeah.
Like just really talking about the things that people aren't willing to talk about
laundry.
and share.
Yeah.
Yes. And like every time I release an episode, I feel like I get so many messages that it's like, oh my gosh, me too. Me
Wow.
too. Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And so it's just like my hope and desire is to like create humanity. Like we're all human. It's really hard living in these bodies.
Yep.
It's really hard walking through life. It's simple and it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole premise of the podcast. And I'm hoping to build and grow and have my private practice. And I would love to run
Amazing.
some retreats, which hopefully there's going to be one in August.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
stay tuned.
Cool.
So yeah, that's Dirty Laundry.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was thinking
well,
about that because we were talking about it right before we started and we were getting ready today. I was like, we have to come up with like a funny name, like That's So Sweet Life of Raven, like how Disney Channel used to do that. Shows like Wizards of Sweet Life on Deck.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta
That's
come
so
up with like
good.
a funny name for us for like the episode
Did you come
title.
up with any good ones?
3 peas and a dirty like 3 peas and like something of like
3 Ps airing out their dirty laundry
or something like that, like or like
I don't know.
dirty laundry in a pod or like you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like
We'll find
Three
something
peas
3 peas and an
left
Ollie.
in the laundry.
3 Ps and an Ollie. Oh my gosh.
That's so
But I
good.
feel like it like kind of is perfect timing because we were actually like looking to collab back in November and it just like did not work out. And so, but the timing I feel like is so cool now because it's like you said, we're talking about motherhood today. And I feel like that's like an area we as 3 Ps have not like delved into before, but we do have like an audience of moms that tune into our show.
Also because like none of us have kids.
Right.
We've talked about having like someone on. We've thrown out a few ideas of like people and when you reached out and you're like, this is actually our season. We're like, okay, God, that is
Yeah, it was
perfect
just
timing.
like perfect timing because it's like you were in that season and then
You're probably the next closest unless
Yeah.
Josie and I like
Yeah.
really start
Unless something absolutely insane.
You never know.
But we all
Immaculate
have, like-
conception.
Literally. That's about what we're looking at.
God no. Please.
Well, and we all have like the desire to be moms though.
Yeah,
and so I
yeah.
feel like it's like an area that obviously it's like uncharted territory for all of us, but like we have so many questions. You're in that season of like life and literally on your podcast. So it's like, it's
Yeah, it's
perfect for
perfect.
today.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
So
Okay, though, can you share a little bit about you guys?
yes.
Yes.
Who wants to start that?
Well, so 3 Ps and a pod started, like we said, in March last year.
Also, genius marketing. You guys launched
all you
it?
two.
Oh my gosh. I was like, that's the
It's
smartest
just,
thing
like,
I've literally
funny,
ever heard.
Yeah.
Well,
we
I
were
literally
just
was- you guys
randomly
were hanging
hanging
out.
out
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh my
Well,
gosh.
we've
like,
always talked about monetizing our friendship.
yeah, we're like, well, we just like get along so well. We're always together. We're attached at the hip. So we're just like, what can we do together that like like we all are like, how can we quit our day jobs and just be like doing life together and like being a content house. I mean, like we joke about it, but like sometimes we're like that's reality. But like we've also just talked about like we're like, should we open a coffee shop? Like we've had other business.
We've talked about travel ideas, which I still think that one idea.
What idea?
We did a travel idea where it was like basically like your girlfriend's guide to a city, and so it's like, you know how like when you go to a city, you're going to listen to your recommendations from your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, oh, try this coffee place. Like it's essentially a Goodreads for.
Well, I'll be a
things.
guest on that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a Goodreads for places to go. Like,
right.
I think it came up when we were in Boston because you had a couple friends that had lived there. I had a couple friends that gave recommendations, and we were like, if a place had like the worth the hype quality of it, like is it worth waiting in line for an hour to get something like that? So we've talked about
somehow developing that. But
that can be a wing. That can be incorporated.
For sure.
But yeah, so we just were like, I think Josie and I were just hanging out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what if we did a podcast and we just like called it like, because our group message is titled 3Ps. So I just like, what if it was just like 3Ps in a pod? And then we like texted Coco that, and immediately you were just like, yeah. And
I was like, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, and then we started it like that month. Like we're like,
We had like a day where we literally just like made the logo together. We're like, oh, like different options, we like that, and created the cover. And then when we came to Milwaukee, we filmed our first one. Like it just literally
and we
happened.
just did like a brainstorming thing of like, what is it going to talk about? And so that's where we decided like on every episode we talk through like a purpose, which is like our topic, and then we talk through pop culture because we all love pop culture. We're always like sending each other reels and whatever of the latest pop culture, and then we do a praise. And so it's like not only are we like we the 3Ps, but like we're talking through the 3Ps on our podcast. So that's kind of our like layout, and we talk about like anything and everything. I feel like from like we don't have
our content note is we have to go back from silly to serious every other week because like like you said, because your seasons are certainly more serious than like what's my FYP, like it's like we have really silly stuff, but like we've noticed, like I personally lean towards like the funnier, goofier stuff, but like we've noticed our like serious ones, like they really do well. And
people really like the deeper topics,
craving
like,
that like kind of
on social media and in its theory, if it could actually be like used for good, it's like relating on those hard topics and being like let's relate about a meme, but like it's
but we also love to like record a funny episode, so we'll do like a lighthearted week, and then we'll have one that's like
we just
breakups or dating or something that's like hard
body image or like finances and stuff, and we're like but
and like Erin said, our group chat was called the 3P, so like that's our like tagline like it's welcome to the group chat. Want to make it that when you're listening you feel like you're hanging out with your friends or like having conversations, laughing, crying, like literally from all the things because that's truly our group chat is like one day it's like I had such good coffee this morning, and then it's like I'm so sad right now. Like it's just like we are just going from
if someone's like sending a lot of stuff about sad, you wait, like you give the obligatory like 20 minutes, like, okay, and then you have to like announce topic change. I just got this thing, like But so basically we're like it's the idea of if our group chat made it into a podcast, it'd be so funny. And then we're like, let's try it. And then it's been fun.
It's been so fun.
It's been so fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what you've wanted to happen has happened. Every time I listen, I'm like, oh, I just want to be on the couch with them. My favorite episode is the chicken chunk.
Oh,
yes.
That is
that was like one of our first episodes. Costco hauls.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was so good.
I love it.
So funny.
I listened to it on my walk along the waterfront, and all of a sudden it was like, chicken chunk! Oh my gosh, it's so
when
good.
I got proven wrong.
Yeah, it's like not a great name like Costco do better, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And have you had them? The chicken chunks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And they're much better than the bear ones. Like the Anyway,
100%.
we're a chicken chunk family.
Love it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, anyways.
Before we get into it, should we do a praise? If that's like your thing. Or do it how do you do it?
We usually round it out at the end.
Round it out at the end.
Yeah.
But we can do it now.
We can do it now too.
Let's do it now.
We do now?
We can change it up today. Let's just.
I was gonna say, because I brought it up earlier, like praise for Andrea, because that's how I know Ollie, and then
that's so sweet.
I had Bible study, and then that's how
so cute.
So like praise for Andrea. She like that's just a great friendship and girlhood, and also we're recording on Valentine's Day, which I just feel like
wow,
so I don't know, it's just like so sweet and like
so sweet.
Yeah. Female. I saw like a thing. I think like the Kelly Clarkson show did like a reel this morning about like female friendships, and I just was like, oh, that's great. So tandem is. Andrea and then female friendships.
Cute.
Praise for that.
Amazing.
You guys got any?
My praise is just for being here. Like, I'm so excited. I'm always so excited to be in Milwaukee and like see Coco. And it's been like it feels like it's been a long time.
Summer, probably.
December. No, but like since we
since
saw
I've seen you.
since
Yeah,
we've seen you in
yeah.
person. So it's always good just to be in person. And then I think also just for like the sunshine and this warm weather, like I am thriving. The sun comes out and I'm a new person.
I know.
Yes.
Seriously.
I'm changed.
Aaron took my praise. That was literally copy paste. Sunshine, being here, Milwaukee. Also, and Coco took some of mine too, just Valentine's Day. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so cute and fun to be with the girlies today.
Totally.
For the weekend.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. All right, Ollie, what's your praise? Hot seat.
I know.
It's really hard.
I'm like, I'm so much to be grateful
It can
for.
truly be like
And
something so minute and like
Or it can
small,
be
or it
big.
can be like a big thing.
I feel like, okay, this is big. Not sort of big for me.
Okay, perfect.
So like I said, I went off social media.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I started to do some like morning meditation and like really be more intentional with my thought life. And I genuinely feel like my life has changed in the past 2 weeks. I could literally cry a tear. Like
We need to sidebar about this.
Yeah.
I want to implement that into my life.
it's been literally I'm crying.
Good.
It's been
Oh,
like
that's good. I'm good.
it has
I'm
been
obsessed.
so like incredible to like view the world in a different way. And like obviously with everything going on, like there's so much division.
Yeah.
And I just got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm focusing on so many things that I cannot control.
Yeah.
And like things are in my life that I can, okay, let's in quotations, control.
Right.
Like I'm not failing at, but I'm not like being intentional with. And so I like took a step back and I was like, okay, what can I be intentional with, and like where can I pour my love and like actually make a difference? And it's here, it's on the podcast, it's in my private practice, it's at home with my son or like with my husband. And so I feel like I've really been working on silencing the noise, and not that I'm not empathetic or like
Right.
in tune with maybe what's going on, but also realizing that like my impact is like right here. It's right here in my body. It's right here in my nervous system. And it's how I'm showing up. Like if I'm showing up anxious and depressed and like unhappy with myself, like that's how people are going to meet me. And so just like learning to regulate my nervous system and like show up in a way that I'm really proud of.
Totally.
And I feel like in the past 2 weeks, it's been like something switched.
Amazing.
What have you
And-
been doing like
What
to
it's
get
like
into that like
look
mindset?
Initially, I was like, oh my gosh, it's all the meditation and being intentional, all this. I genuinely think a huge part of it has been getting off of social media.
believe it.
And it's not like, obviously I have a business. And so I'm on Meta and I have it on my iPad. So I would say there's days when I'll scroll or like things just to like get like people coming to my but being like very intentional with that time and not having it on my phone, because I was like, I'd walk down the hall and I'm on my phone scrolling and I don't even know what I'm looking at, and I'm just like filling my mind in it with like this
for sure.
trash. So I'd say that's the first thing, and the second thing I would say is some sort of like meditation. And I feel like that is like a buzzword right now. And I always was like, oh, I need to listen to a podcast to know how to meditate.
Right.
And it's literally all meditation is like you're sitting with your thoughts and you're bringing your thoughts back. Like, oh, my mind wandered. I'm human. Our minds wander. And bringing it back. And like whether you're bringing scripture into that, like I've been just like showing myself more grace. Like so often I'm like, oh, I need to sit down and I need to read the Bible for an hour and I need to study and I need to do this. And it's like in this time of my life, I'm like planning a wedding. I'm in grad school. I run a podcast. I have a family. I have a son. Like, and I don't have time to study scripture all the time. So I've been literally turning on a chapter of Luke while I'm doing my morning workout. And then I get home and I meditate for literally 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I sit in my closet. And I put my noise canceling earpods in and I turn on like meditative music and I literally just sit there and I'm like, bring it back. I'm human.
It's like grounding
bring
yourself,
it back.
kind of,
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Okay.
And like with like motherhood and parenting and all that, so much of it is about our nervous system and how we're showing up in these moments. Like our children aren't born with a regulated nervous system. That's something that's learned. And so I'm like, okay, If that's something that learned, how am I showing up with my kid and teaching them that? And it's not necessarily about how you're parenting, but I would say 90% of it is like the words that you're using and how you're showing up in your body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow, I have such a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And like, how the heck am I bridling my tongue? And am I like taking my thoughts captive and inviting the Lord into my life instead of having this time with him and then going about my day? It's like,
don't keep him in a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Totally. I love that.
Literally obsessed.
Yeah.
I like gave Josie a little like, you know, when you're in church and the pastor says something and you're like, you said like, I need to give myself grace. I'm like,
I know.
oh, I'm so hard on myself.
well, it's so hard, especially when I feel like we've talked about like mental health and stuff. It's like, you feel like, and I have other friends too that have faith too, and they're like, I just feel like such a failure, and I'm like, I need to be better about it. And like being a Christian, it's like finding the joy in things and stuff. And it's like, Jesus never said you had to be perfect about like
Jesus wept. Period.
Jesus wept, period. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's never like he's the one that was perfect. He was perfect in everything he did. So it's like it's just so funny when you said the grace thing. I was like, I think we're so hard on ourselves when it comes to mental health because it feels so personal. But it's like, no, like
Totally.
that's
The social media piece is so interesting too. And like that could be a whole, I mean, we have done an episode on social, but like Josie and I were just talking about that in the car last night too. We were just saying how like the algorithms these days, like I swear they're listening, they hear what is going on. Or like, of course, if you can relate to a video, you're like, you actually watch it and then it knows like, oh, push more of that. And so we were just saying how it's like, it is so insane how fast, like, whatever you're going through in your life, the algorithm knows you're going through it, and then they push you like the most anxiety-inducing videos about it. Like it's either like
fear sells.
Yes,
like we were just like, if it's like when my mom died, it's like, oh, all the death videos and all the like.
Grief.
I was hearing things about like, don't wait till you hear the death rattle, and I was like, what's the death rattle? Like it really is like inducing anxiety, or like if it's like a breakup, it's like, well, yeah, it's gonna push you breakup videos. If it's
when your mom first got diagnosed, I think my whole feed was pancreatic cancer, like how to like stories.
So it's like I feel like I've known that, but we were just saying the other night how it's like it actually is scary how fast it learns what you're going through.
It's not even hiding
and
it.
Then all of a sudden it's like pushing you, and it's not like helpful videos. It like it is instilling fear and anxiety. And it's like, anyway, so we were just having that conversation the other day of like, man, we should really get off socials because like I feel like all of us could find something in our lives that like we're going through, and it's like, you know, your algorithm is just making it worse for you. So it's like that piece is huge too, I think.
Yep. That's a great praise.
Yeah, that was a great praise.
I love it. Look at you, your first praise. Congrats.
You did it.
On the pod.
The first P praise.
So true.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. Ollie, okay, what do you have for us?
Yeah.
Maybe we just like intro it a little bit.
Yes.
Of, like we are talking about like motherhood, and also changing friendships as like friends enter into motherhood, as friends enter into different seasons. Like when you're in a different season of life than a friend, how can you support a friend in a different season? Like when you don't understand. So like
we're like tying the two together.
Exactly. Because we're all in different seasons. So I think we'll all have like really cool perspectives, and like I have questions I want to ask you, Ollie, as a mom. So that's the gist of today's episode.
I think this is such an interesting time. Like we're all around the same age. Like I think this is the time in life where a lot of paths start to go. I think the first time you kind of see it is like the physical. You're no longer on the same paths as your friends from college or high school. People are moving to different cities and stuff. And that feels like, wait, we were all together and now it feels super lonely. And so you're not like, it's really hard. It's a very hard thing to navigate.
And it's weird how like in your 20s, I feel like you could be single or you could be married with a child or like whatever. And it's like, both are just totally fine. Like it's like either is okay, but it's like you can be at such stark different seasons of life.
Yeah. And I think like the way you can, I don't know if it's possible, and like let me know what you think because you're the mom in the group, but like it's funny, like my mom's like, as soon as your friends start having kids, like it's the adage of like you'll never see them again, or like they'll have their own new mom friends, which I think is like important because you want to have people in the same walk of life as you. But it's just, I feel like in my opinion, I think that's an old school way of thinking. I think you can certainly still nurture friendships, but it's just interesting like that. I feel like that's an old way of thinking of like, as soon as they have kids, say goodbye to your friends. And I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but Yeah, like has that been, how do you feel about that? Like as a mom, like do you feel like you have to be more intentional about stuff? Like what do you think?
I think as seasons change, whether it's motherhood or moving to a different state or starting a new job, like whatever it is, as we get older, there are natural shifts in friendship.
Yep.
And I think it's important, honestly, to take an inventory of your friends and not in a disrespectful way or whatever, but in an intentional way.
Yeah.
And like where am I headed? Who supports me? Who shows up for me? And like, who do I want to pour into? But also understanding like that friendships are going to look different, but they can actually have so much more depth and intentionality. Like I was talking to my husband, Zach, about this yesterday. I was just talking about the episode, and he was like, I feel like relationships change. Like, okay, in college, you're going to Dublin and you're drinking, or or even you're like just going out on a Friday night and you're getting drunk or doing whatever, going bowling.
Or just living with a house of girls.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
like it's just whatever it is. And there's sometimes lack of intention because there's so much space and time to get together. So you're just like, oh, I'm hanging out and it's whatever. Whereas like once an individual enters motherhood, there has to be intention. And I feel like my relationships have actually gotten to a new level of depth because it's like, oh, when we're together, this is like a sacred time. I'm choosing to spend my time with you. Yeah. I desire this friendship. I desire to pour into this friendship. And yeah, there's like intention behind it. So I think
it's not convenient. Like, and that's like kind of another signifier to a friend of like, oh, this is like, you're taking the time out of your day. Your time is finite because you have a kid and like everything is like for the next foreseeable future, like your schedule is around his. And so, which is like how it should be. But I think it's also a signifier to a friend of like, oh, wow, we're getting together on Saturday for brunch and like Ollie's taking the time to do it. It's a very intentional thing. And like, I think, that's maturity in friendships. It's like, of course, college is super easy. You have the convenience and location and there's you don't have anything other than like homework, which like half the people don't do. So I can totally see what you're saying there. Yeah.
I think too, female friendships are such a beautiful thing because there's so much depth. Once you like have a friend, you like open up your like whole heart to them and just like invite them in. And there's so much beauty in that. And there's also so much room for hurt and rejection. And I feel like we hold our female friendships to a really, really, really high standard. And when they don't meet that standard, it feels like rejection or loss. And there's like this grief that comes with it. So I think also like taking a step back and asking yourself like, what expectations or whatever am I holding this friend to that's so unrealistic, you know? And because I feel like, yes, my relationships have changed, but I have like, I would say 4 or 5 like core friendships that I still pour so much into. And there have been some that have like drifted away. I had people tell me that, oh, I'm really scared you're going to change when like you enter motherhood. And I was like, my vagina got to the size of a coffee cup and I pushed a human. I created.
God, you changed.
No, literally.
I'm like, what? You know? So it's like also, I don't know, just showing each other grace as you like move through transition.
Yes, that actually, we're back to grace. But that is something I wrote down actually was just on both sides of where your expectations are. And like, as things are changing, like really believing the best in your friends and having that grace for them, because we're both navigating it, you know, as things change, there's different feelings and all of that. And I think it really is like, believe the best in your friends. Like if you were that close before, like the desire hasn't changed. No. But other like things and schedules and all that are changing. And I think it's really important to come at it with a level of just like seeking to understand. So yeah, I love that.
And assuming the best because like they were once your best friend and they probably still are, but like Yeah, I think the letdown from female friendships. I've never had like really any romantic relationship. So it's like the most intimate like relationships I've had have been like these deep female friendships, and so it's like it feels even more like an affront when like a female friend like I don't know. I just feel like you said, I hold people to a really high standard because that is like the most important friendships in my life. And so it's like, yeah, I like that idea of like kind of redefining of like what can you expect. And unfortunately, like I think it was a therapist I went to. It's not unfortunately, but it's a good reminder of like everybody, and in its essence, because we're humans, we're so self-centered. And so like everybody comes in with their own set of experiences and baggage and whatever. And like, I just think if your friend is like, stop making someone else's busy schedule. Like if they're now a mother, don't make it about you. Oh, well, no, they don't make time for me. They don't like me anymore. No, they're just like freaking tired. They have a child that they need to be on a schedule for. Like the minute you start making it about you and like, being like, oh, they just don't like want our friendship anymore. They're not prioritizing me. Well, yeah, like they're a mother now. And like, I can joke all that I want that Hank is like my child, but like, I don't have to worry about like feeding him at odd hours and waking, you know what I mean? Like it's a lifelong commitment that they've just like done. And it's a beautiful thing. But yeah.
I guess too, like I keep thinking about it and I'm like not being, any of us are not moms. So I'm like, you can speak to if this is true, but I'm like, is there any truth to like inviting people into that? Cause like, that's one thing I think of is like, I feel like I've had friends that become moms that like, maybe, yeah, we see each other a lot less or like whatever, but I feel like I've had friends that become moms and like, I don't know, like they're fine if I'm there and we have to change the diaper and put the kid to bed while we're hanging out, or like kind of like have invited me into their space or like, I don't know, like where I'm just like a part of it. And it's like, I'm like wanting to be a part of it where I'm like, well, I want to see you. So like, I'm totally down to like come over. And like, if we have to take a 30-minute to hour, whatever, how long it takes you to get the kid down, like I'll just sit and scroll my phone or like watch TV. Like I'm happy to just sit there or help you. Or, so I don't know if there's any truth to that too, of like, maybe like in vice versa too, where it's like, well, if you're not a mom, like, I don't know, like inviting and making sure you're like participating, just like really being truly like a part of each other's like day to day and like inviting each other into that instead of like putting up that wall of like, well, I'm a mom now, so I have to do this. Well, now I have, I don't know, I have a new job. And so that's my wall of like, I don't know, like putting a wall up of like a reason that you can't see each other as much. Like, I don't know.
I have two things. First, it's okay to tell your mom friends that you miss them. Like, period. I don't know. I feel like there's times when people will like have these expectations or these ideas or make it about them and like just ruminate on it. And they're like, this, you know, this girl, they're not the same. And they're so like obsessed with their kids. Change. Like Ollie changed. Like, oh my gosh, you know? And instead of like sitting in that, just literally send a text, be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I miss you. You know? Yeah. And just like communication. Or no? Literally, that's the hard thing. For me, I've absolutely changed. I feel like I have changed so much for the better with becoming a mom. And yes, I have to be a little bit more scheduled and plan ahead and all of those things. But also, like, how many months did it take us to get here? Right. And you're not moms. You know, so it's like, it's also just like life happens. And like, there's schedules as we get older that we need to work around. So some of it, I think, is just normal. But like, I think communication is just key. Like, if you're feeling it, be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I miss you. Can I come cook you dinner? Yeah. And it's like, yes. Like, any dinner that is not that I don't have to cook tastes so much better. Yeah. You know? So like, I think it's okay to tell your friends that are moms that you miss them. And then two, I think, yes, and it so depends on the mother. Like for me, I feel like I have invited my friendship, like I have invited them into my life, and I have friends that just come and sit on my couch and scroll while I'm putting Wes to bed. And we'll go on walks, and Wes is with us. Like I do really try to.
Oh yeah, we did that with you, me, and Hank. That was a nightmare. Was all over.
And Wes was screaming, and I had to hold him for half the time. I was like, but like you just embrace the chaos. However, I think it comes back to like that nervous system regulation. A lot of
Yeah.
mothers are not regulated and they are so overstimulated and so sleep deprived that any sort of like extra energy is so exhausting.
Yep.
So I think like ways to show up for your friends in new motherhood is like literally dropping off food. It's like literally dropping off at their doorstep and not expecting to come in.
Yep.
You know, just like drop it off and she'll like invite you in if she wants you to come in. And like I would say that's very, very early on. But then too, I feel like so often people are like, oh, I'll come and hold your baby so you can like get stuff done.
Yep.
And it's like, no. Come and do the stuff.
Yeah.
Come and do my dishes
Yeah.
and like sweep my floor if you're close, you know, so that I can just sit and hold my baby and be in a clean home.
Yeah.
And not to say that you can't hold the baby.
No.
You know,
It really is dependent on the mom because there's times where one of my mom friends like she's like, yeah, please hold him. He's been on me all day. I
Yes.
need I want to cook a meal.
And I want to like shower.
And I want to
half
cook
an
for you,
hour.
like literally. And then like the other time it was like I literally came in and she was planning on doing that, and I was like, I got it, and I just like cooked in her kitchen, and she was like, oh wow, okay, that was nice. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like not all. I think that's the other thing too. It's like we can't assume. I don't know what happens when it's like women become moms. We're like, oh, all moms are the same. It's like, no, she's still a human, and everybody has different preferences.
Maybe it does
like,
just come back to communication. Like,
Yes.
what do you
Yeah,
need? What
totally.
would be helpful?
and like still inviting them. I feel like there's times when you become a mom and all of a sudden it's like you're in this like different caliber. You're like in this different category. And so you don't get invited anymore. And it's like, I'm
Is it,
literally
like,
the same person.
Stemming from assumption like, oh, well, she probably won't come because she has like to do bedtime or something like
Right.
that. Or like,
And I think too, like I do have to say no to a lot, you know, but if I'm there, I really want to be
and
there.
so maybe if you have to say no so often, they just assume it's going to be a no. Like,
Yes.
maybe that's.
But the asking is still like being intentional and like literally being like, I notice you.
yeah.
There's this quote that I absolutely love, and it's we're all born looking for someone to look for us.
Aw.
And it's so true. Like when you hold your baby in their arms, the first thing that they try to do is to make eye contact with mom. And that's like the first like innate connection. And like I think the rest of our life, a lot of this like mental health stuff and just like we're all seeking to be loved and noticed and appreciated.
Totally.
And so I think with that in motherhood, like still asking like, hey, the girls are going out for a drink and we'd love to have you. Like no pressure.
Yep.
You know, there's no expectation here, but we love you and
Well,
we'd love
yeah,
to see
like
you.
I think about it just like obviously I'm only a mom to Hank, so like whatever. But like I don't like if I'm not if we're in the same city and like you guys know maybe I have like a thing. You guys like whenever I'm home or whatever, you guys know I have like family stuff. You guys still text me, hey, we know you're busy tonight, but if you want to like being like the feeling of it, even if you're a mom or not or whatever, like. Even if your friends know that you're busy, you're likely to say no. It's like, hey, offer still stands.
Just in
if you're
case
out
something
there, like,
changed or in case you can make it.
yeah, like it's just is a nice like that feeling of being seen and included and wanted, and like we still want you there even though if you can't like
That's okay.
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's so true of like, oh, she's a mom, she can't bedtime 7:30. She wouldn't like it's like okay, well she can find help if she really wants to go, she can have someone help her.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, like until I thought I knew what it was like to be a mom. I was like, I nannied for 10 years.
Yep.
I get it. I get moms, you know? And I think that we as women like are created to bear children and take care of children. And not to say that it's an expectation or you have to or whatever, but like I do think that that's what we were created for.
100%.
But becoming a mom, it's not even like the like practical things that were really hard. Like that stuff, like I feel like I understood. It's more like the mental load that I didn't expect. So also showing each other grace.
Yeah.
Like me as like a woman, I was like, yeah, I get it. And then I became a mom and I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, holy cow, I did not get it.
True.
And so also like showing your single friends grace and that they've never like pushed a child out of them.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's okay. And not
Yeah.
expecting them to understand
We
and
were
vice
kind of
versa.
Touching on that like the other day too, where we were saying like, I don't know, there's just things where it's like, you hear about with either pregnancy or you hear about with like momhood, and I feel like it's like really easy to be quick to be like, yeah, like they can never come, or like that's probably they're just being like not like weak, but like just like things, and then it's
I
like
wouldn't struggle with that.
yeah,
I
like,
could never.
That's
like
probably like not as bad as people make it sound or something, and then it's like you either like see it firsthand from somebody or go through it or whatever, and you're like, oh, like so I don't know. I feel like we recently were like, oh, like how quick it is when you haven't been through it to be like maybe judgy or to be like, seriously, they can't come again or something like that. But it's like, I think what you're touching on is like, well, until you're there, like
again, we're just selfish people and you don't understand it until you have to go through it.
Yeah.
Like,
and so I think there is that grace and like trying to remind yourself like, okay, that is their reality though. And like, that is their like, kind of like assuming the best of them. Like this isn't how they like were before. So like there's a reason they're
obviously
either overwhelmed or they're
changed,
tired or they're, of course. And it's a big change, but I feel like, so we were just reflecting on those people who don't have kids where we're like, or whatever season it is where you're like, we were even saying it last night in the car about my mom. Like, you were just like, like you're like, oh, I just think about this thing and like how hard that must have been for you. And you're like, and I was just in it for like one day. Like I wasn't in it for whatever. So it's like, the grace and like trying to put yourself, and it's vice versa too. Like what you're saying, like as a mom, put yourself in your single friend's spot too and be like, how are they feeling about this right now too? Cause it's like, I don't know, their feelings are valid too.
Yeah, totally.
I was just going to ask, are there like a few practical things that come to mind, Ollie, of like how, like things you wish your friends that weren't moms knew, or like a couple scenarios or like examples of like how friends that haven't walked through that yet can support their friends that enter into motherhood?
Good question.
Yeah.
Barbara Walters. Okay. Diane Sawyer. I don't know which one is the.
I feel like it's some of the things like I said earlier, like the still inviting and like having low expectations, but communicating too when you're feeling lonely or like you're missing that connection. I feel like a lot of it just comes down to communication and even like offering things up. I feel like in relationships, like something that's exhausting for me and like adds to my mental load is like, I'm like, Zach is so willing to help, but there's often times where I have to, in anything, like you have to tell people what you need, you know? And so sometimes it's
the decision
helpful.
fatigue of
it's
like
insane. But so as a friend, be like, even like offering up like 3 options, like, hey, I would love to see you. Do you want to get coffee? Like, could I come and sit on your couch? Like, do you want me to bring you dinner?
Not making you be the one to come up with the plan.
Yes. And offering up those options. And then I can be like, oh my gosh, this one actually sounds so nice. Like, can you bring me dinner and sit on the couch with me? You know?
Yeah.
Or even just like little check-ins. Like, oh, I'm thinking about you. And even that can like soften a mother's heart. You know, like, oh, like they're thinking about me. Like I kind of forgot that there were people outside of this room, and then I can invite them in. So being willing to like be the one to take that first step. And then I feel like if that foundation of the friendship is there, the mother will follow.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of reminding me of when stuff was going on with like your mom. I feel like
totally
at the end when you were like having to make a bunch of decisions for like the funeral planning. I just remember being like, we like set up the meal train together, and then I just like brought food over to you and your dad's, and like whatever. It's just like you just kind of just show up and like
take initiative.
Don't. I didn't ever show up expecting like with your dad, especially. I was like, I'm not coming in and eating dinner with y'all, but like I was like happy to just bring food and not having expectations, and like I just know for a fact, like I'm thinking of my sister-in-law and I'm thinking of my other friend that like I see quite frequently. Like I know I'm not going to get a text back right away because first of all, like they're just trying to soak up the time with their kid because they love this baby. It's the cutest thing in the world to them. And like, they're like, you know what I mean? Like they're not on their phone, and like, good. I wouldn't want any of my mom friends to be like, yeah, no worries. Like just constantly checking the phone. So having those like lower expectations, and not because like they can't handle it, but just being like, moms just like, they literally have to worry about a second being, like relying on them for everything. They're learning everything from you, and like dads to an extent, but it's just like the moms have such an important role. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm gleaning from that. You know.
And like show up messy, you know? I feel like so often we're like so worried about saying the right thing.
Yeah.
And like even in like grief, it's like so often we're like scared to ask
Yeah.
about the grief. And it's like I'm thinking about my mom all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my kid all the time.
Yep.
Like ask.
Yep.
I'm thinking about it. So like you're not offending
You're not
me.
bringing it up. Oh
Yeah, like So like just like
That's
show up
such a good
messy
point.
and wrong, and like
Yeah.
like the heart posture I really feel like is what matters.
Yeah.
And
Again, like
Like-
hopefully that friendship, like you can give them the benefit of the doubt of like they're trying, and like if the like you said, if the foundation of the friendship is there, like if you say something wrong, like hopefully that friendship you can just be like, hey, I didn't appreciate that, or like there's grace there.
kick rocks. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Totally.
No, I think that's a great point. I love that.
How do you strike a balance in motherhood of like, because it's like you do need the outside connection still, but also like your identity like is like mom is such a huge identity shift, and so it's like how do you strike a balance of like I don't know, like maintaining those friendships on and like maybe not making like it's like how do you make your kid not your whole like I don't know. It's kind of like we've said with we like when we got puppies, it was like, oh my gosh, well, Kaya this or like that or whatever. And it's like it's so life changing. So it's like, how do you, I don't know, strike a balance of like, you have single friends. And so like, they like love your kid and care about your kid, but like maybe they don't want to just like talk about baby things all the time or something. So it's like, do you find that hard? Like, do you feel like or does that come fairly naturally to try to like keep up that friendship and stuff without, I don't know.
Us in a society, I think, are always seeking balance. We have work-life balance and relationship balance, and we're seeking an illusion. There is nothing is ever balanced.
Yeah.
And I actually had a woman, Katie Rexing, on my podcast. Her episode will come out in a couple of months. She's fabulous. So if you need a new podcast to listen to.
Oh, I love that.
But she's talking about how we, as mothers and women and whatever, maybe businesswoman, whatever it is, are always going to have so many plates that we're tossing into the air.
Yeah.
And so often we're trying to control those plates. How can I control my son so he doesn't act up? How can I control this friendship? How can I control my relationship and this and my grad school and my podcast? Like, how can I balance it all? How can I time block? How can I meal prep good enough? And it's always coming from a place of lack or not enoughness.
Yeah.
And so instead of like trying to control all of this external noise, how can we regulate ourselves in order to like show up well in those moments?
Yep.
Regulate yourself so that you can show up when you're podcasting. And when you're at coffee with a friend, you're at coffee with a friend. And when you're with your husband or partner or whatever, like you're there. Or when you're a mom, you're there. And learning to say no. Learning to say no so you have space for things that actually fill your cup. And not to say that there's like selfishness and like you always have to be like, I always have to be filled. Like I think in relationships, it's never a 50-50. There's times when like I'm struggling and my friend was picking up the slack and vice versa. And so like, yeah, I guess I don't know if that fully answers your question.
No, that makes sense.
I think that's like an honest way of looking at it too, because I think we're just getting into a generation where it's like more and more of my mom friends are just like, I'm still a person. And I feel like, think about it from a kid perspective, like in my head for like the longest time, mom was mom. And like, she didn't have a life outside of me because why would she? I'm like everything to her. I'm her center of her life. Like, duh. And she probably still is. Hey, Jan. But like, I know that there's so many women that like once the kids leave the house, that's like a really big time of divorce because women completely lose themselves. Because I think the generation before it was like motherhood, like you were kind of saying, that was the sole identity that they really.
I mean, I think I saw that with like my own mom. Like it was like we left the house and it was like she just never. Like she didn't have hobbies or like a podcast on the side or like things that she was doing for herself.
Wasn't
and so,
intentional about
it was
that,
almost like a midlife crisis of like, which there's literally like studies that show that too.
Yeah.
And so, but it was interesting like with my own mom where it was like, she just was very like, what do I like to do? And like, what do I, and like looking back, I'm like, well, I'm so grateful that you like took the time to like that we were your everything. But then I'm like also like I like wish you would have taken time to like still go play pickleball if that's your jam or like still go see that friend. Like she just like never really like it was almost like we left for college and it's like I feel like she'd given up like friendships or like I don't know. So like
I think
that's where I'm coming from of like it's so like important to like stay.
I think it's a testament of that era though. I really do think like a lot of our moms like that like and the thing is like again cannot stress enough like motherhood is such a blessing and a calling and like it is such a beautiful thing from God, but also like we are humans like it's such a weird thing like as an adult kids like realize it the moment you start realizing like oh our parents are people and so I think like our generation is just much more like I think experiencing that and being like experiencing that as a kid and being like okay how am I going to show up then to make my kids realize like I'm a person too or like not that you need to be like my kids talking I'm like you don't realize your mom like is a meme queen you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like flexing my like reputation and identity on my kid but like making time for those friendships like I think making time like showing affection to your spouse in front of your parent because then or in front of your kids because then they can see like oh they're also a wife like even seeing that I think it's like I think it's like the biblical way of looking at it is like I think technically it should be like your spouse above your kid. I don't remember. There's like this, right? Is. And it's like that's like we were number one in the house. Like, like my brother.
That's how it was for us too.
And I don't think that that's wrong by any means because I think I had such a fantastic childhood. But it's just so interesting of like the way that you decide to like present to your kids does impact the way that they're gonna go out into the world and see things. And then also too like once they're gone, if your relationship with your husband was not number one. Like that's really when a lot of couples struggle of like, oh, the kids was our thing. Now we're back and like, hey, we're dating again. You know what I mean? It's like a very weird transition back. But yeah, I think that was that where you were trying to like
I think talk so. About? Like just kind of like, and then I think like from the single friend standpoint, like I don't know if I'm kind of like, is that like annoying? Like it's like if I feel like being a mom is like such a huge identity and like it is and like a huge change. Like you're like your body changed. You're also like taking care of this thing and like making sure it survives. Like it's such a huge thing that your change you've gone through. But then like, if like, I'm like, well, I don't know, Coco, if like every time we get together, I'm just like, well, like this and this and this and this and this.
I mean, I would like light you up if you were annoying.
So that's like, there's just like balance there with like, how do you make like a single friend feel cared for? And like, I don't know. I mean, it really is just like...
Okay, so let's think about it in a biblical perspective, right? Like, if your children become your idol, if your marriage becomes your... Like, I know so much... Like, anytime I'm with friends and it's like the love life is the idol, like, and if that's the thing we're talking about, that's annoying to me. Like, I find that, like, okay, can we really not talk about... Like, for the longest time, my work was my idol because that was, like, my identity in that. And so it's, like, I'm sure for, like, the longest time, that's all I could talk about. And people be like, okay, let's get a different update.
But, like, I feel like, a better example, too, is probably, like, I kind of felt like that when I was going through, like, my mom's death. Like, it was, like... because I was so in that, it's like that's the only thing I have to talk about. Like this is huge, this is life changing, and so it's like. But then I would find myself being like, I feel so annoying. Like I need to make sure that I'm like, I need to be like, well, how are you doing though? Or like, how are you like? And not that now that I like didn't care, but like I'm in the middle of like the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life, and so it's like, how do you like? That's what I think I need is like making sure. That
you were good about
like,
it in the group chat because you would like I think it was like when it first got diagnosed it was all that and when I don't think Josie and I were like she's not asking me about what book I read this month like it was like how dare her and then at one point you were like okay let's like change the tone and so it's like I personally I never found it annoying and like the thing is like again grace with friends of knowing like I don't think your mom's diagnosis became your idol, but like this is a big thing, and of course it's gonna matter a lot more than like the cute guy I saw at the grocery store. Like you know what I mean? It's like
and I think like what you said was so true too about like there are certain times where like one friend is like it's like I don't have the capacity going through that to like check in as much as I would have pre-death Aaron like or pre-mom Ollie like I don't know. So there's that too, but then there will be phases where like. You do have more, or like you said, like you're like the beginning is really like tough, like newborn is tough too, and then maybe once you're in like more of a rhythm, it's like you kind of have found your like
balance.
Well, and like, I know, but like, but even like how you said, you're like I have my like 4 or 5 friends that like I really invest into, and you've kind of found your rhythm, and like, or if they're like you found out like are they willing to come over? Like, can I take the kid on a walk with Coco? Like, bring it, bring my baby with, but like, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with that. Just that like, yeah, I guess kind of maybe that's what I feel like that's what you were saying though, of like, there will be times where like you just don't have the capacity or like you are lacking in that area because you're just like, I'm in the biggest like season or change of my life. And so it's like, then there's grace for that too, coming from the other friends.
When it's so immediate and you're like in the throes of it, whatever it is, there's like no expectation for like a sense of like, equality in that relationship or like level of care. Ollie, I feel like you alluded to that of like the like false idea of like balance just ever. Like there's just, it will never be like 50-50 all the time, you know? And so I think that's like a level of just like self-awareness you need to have with friends.
I was going to say that there is so much enmeshment with mom and baby. And I think it's really unhealthy. I think that mothers do adopt this new identity and it is their sole identity. And I think changing the script to like, you are in control of your children and the guide and all of this to like you're witnessing another human grow and you're a witness of your child's life and they are a full human. And yes, we have a responsibility to disciple and guide and nurture, but also we as like women and mothers like take on their wins and their losses and they have this like relationship thing going on with friends at school and all of a sudden you're just like taking on and carrying all this weight and it's not your weight to carry. And you can guide them and you can counsel and you can sit and listen, but also like you've and okay, I'm speaking and my son is literally 1 year old. So like check back in 10, 15 years when just like banging the doors down.
So as a school counselor.
Yes.
Like, and like I feel like there's so many calls I get where it's like, this girl said this to my daughter and like, you know, which like that comes from a deep care of like, they're probably seeing their kid cry at home and like that would be heartbreaking. We've been through like bullying, like whatever stuff, but like I don't know. My mom to this never got involved though, but they never got involved.
No, I remember. I think if I would have let her, my mom would have like. Yeah. I think my mom would have talked to another mom.
Maybe
and been
there
like,
is that enmeshment because I'm like, you know what? Maybe say my mom totally probably. I think she did take on my emotions too. Like
totally took on my emotions, which like I personally wouldn't have changed it because I loved having someone that like just felt me and like got it and like was there with me. But at the same time, like we also had those conversations. So it's like, please don't say anything because I don't want to make it worse. And I don't think it was like out of a don't do this because you don't need to take my load. It was more like I don't want to start stuff at school for myself. But it is like a really healthy, like, how are they going to learn to regulate if you're regulating for them? You're like enabling kids that can't regulate their emotions. And it's really funny seeing like my sister-in-law and my brother, they're like, my sister-in-law is also like a child life therapist. And they're just trying to like, Eva's just over 2 and they're like, okay, Eva, like talk about your emotions. Like, it's just so funny. Like, not that my parents avoided emotions. I'm certainly very emotional, but like that is just such an interesting way to see how parents are doing it now of like, we're going to learn how to regulate. And I've talked to Josie about this book a lot, but like the Let Them theory, I highly suggest have you read it?
I haven't read it, no, but
you would like it a lot. Especially giving like the idea of like what you can and cannot control. Yeah. Highly suggest it. It's all you can do is control yourself. So it's like, let them do whatever. But it's like, there's a chapter about like, a lot of people are not regulated. A lot of people are emotionally stunted to like an 8-9-year-old, like literally.
Sorry, emotionally stunted.
Emotionally stunted.
So
like they have the emotional the EQ of like an 8-year-old. And so it's like when people act out, think of people in your lives when they act out and have a tantrum or like are reacting poorly to a situation. Like it's because they only know how to regulate to a certain level because like at that point, that's usually when you're having a tantrum in a grocery store and your parents are telling you to stop doing this, like, well, whatever. And it's like without inadvertently knowing it, like you're telling the kid your emotions are too much. And like it's so much psychology behind it. And like so that was very interesting to me in the book of like you as a mother, you're in charge, or as a parent, you're in charge of like being like, okay, like let's work through the emotion, let the emotion come in like a wave instead of putting up a wall. And then now you just have a bunch of water coming, you know, it's just like a very interesting visual of like, you have to let the emotions come and go because like a lot of people run from emotions as an adult and it creates adults that like avoid emotion and it's hard. I'm not like saying I love feeling sad or like whatever. No, but it's important to feel them. Otherwise, it can lead to bigger consequences.
Oh, for sure.
Like teaching your children how to label emotions or like explain what you're feeling,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
also something that's not like innate.
Right.
You don't, like, my son is like screaming on the floor and I'm like, dude, you feel a little frustrated right now, don't you? You know, and he's like, he like, but he doesn't have the language to
Right.
say that, you know?
Right.
And so like teaching them that and like sitting with them and you breathing and regulating your nervous system. Whenever I do that, Wes just calms down. Okay, a question then for you guys is like flipping it as like a mother. How can we come alongside our single, well, non-mother friends?
Yep. I think it's like such a good question and something that I think even just when we were talking about how there's different like seasons. So it's like when somebody's a new mom, like I would never expect them to like show up for me in a certain way. It's like, this is my time to like step up and be like, can I bring you dinner? How could like give the options, whatever. Yeah. And so it's like this is almost like a question back, but where like it's, how can you start to advocate for yourself as like a single friend too, of like, there are things that like I want to be celebrated in, or I want people to show up for me in too, but I don't want to have like, I don't want to have to ask, but I also like, there's a level of expectation too of like, I truly like feel bad, like putting that on somebody that like is going through something in their own life, whether that's motherhood or not. So that's something I just like haven't figured out yet, or like a question that I have asked.
We've talked about it.
Cause it's like, I was just talking about this with my therapist, but like, I think as I get older too, like it's like turning 28 this year. Like, I think I'm starting to enter into a season of life where it's like, honestly, every time somebody close to me enters into a new season, there's a level of like celebration and grief for me now, where like it hasn't, why am I getting emotional? Where like that hasn't existed before. I think like in some senses, yes, like when we were right out of college and our friends were getting married, I'm like, oh, like I want to do that too, you know, but I'm so pumped. Like I can't wait, like the bachelorettes and the things. And like, I love planning this and I love being a part of it. And like, I don't know what it is, but like, I think later 20s, obviously there's just a level of like expectation. And then like you start to feel behind a lot more.
Yeah.
That's my personal experience. If like you don't feel like that, that's amazing because
you.
you're not
Good
and
for
good,
you.
like literally. And so it's hard not to feel like a downer in a sense.
Yeah.
And like there's nobody's fault. Like everybody is moving at their own pace and where God has like put people in their life and like literally how God has orchestrated their life and mine. It's all in his plan and it's all good. And I know that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But when there is that level of like, how many like meal trains can I sign up for, or showers can I go to, and like do that genuinely with a sense of joy. Like I don't do anything out of like obligation or like, you know, do it begrudgingly, because I just don't think that that's fair either. But when there's like a new job for me or a new
apartment or a new relationship, like but you're like, can you celebrate me too? And like, and I think too, like
feel seen.
You've talked about too, you're like, when is it my turn? Like,
Yeah,
there's just my turn.
Right.
It's like,
we've talked about that. Like, cause I think I've talked about it with like married friends and family. And I'm just like, at some point, the part of me is like, okay, is my pride getting in the way that I need to be celebrated? Like, why do I feel deserved to be celebrated? Like all these types of things. But it can feel pretty lonely when you are like single and there's like these things that you are accomplishing at the same time as other people, but like they're not quote unquote like big enough for a shower, big enough for a party, big enough for whatever. And so it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily, it's really hard because it's like, it's finding the balance between the two. Cause sometimes when I'm like, okay, why am I not getting celebrated? I'm like, okay, relax. But like, I've always said like, it'd be really nice if I could get a new set of pans, like, because I moved to a new place, but I'm single and like that, I don't have a registry for moving. You know what I mean? Like that's not a thing. And so as far as like married friends or even people in like engaged or relationships and stuff, I just feel like practical ways to show up for single friends is like keeping up to date with like all things rather than just the big high markers of like, how's your job? How's your, like, whenever people ask because I'm single, it's like, how's dating going? It's like, I get just so annoyed because it's like, oh, is that all I'm amounted to? Is like, if I've found someone yet? or if I've like whatever. And it's like, I have a lot of other really cool things, like just checking in and just being like, okay, what's like the top thing right now that you're most excited about? What's the thing right now that is filling you with joy? And like, I don't know, personally, I could do away with like the dating thing. Like it's fun to talk about to a degree when you have something to talk about. But if you're not, and you're just like, to me personally, I'm just kind of like, okay, so I'll reach back out to you when I have something that's worth your time to talk about. Like that's how I feel. And yeah, it's just like, I think as far as like friends with children, like I want to be at those great like invite me to the first birthday party. I love that stuff. I want to like, I personally love making crafts for friends. If there's anything that like a kid that you're like, hey, I would really love this craft or whatever. Like I would love to be a part of all the baby stuff. That's like my favorite thing. Or like when you and I went on a walk and like we did something like I needed to get Hank on a walk, you needed to get out of the house, and we wanted to see each other. Like that's so fun. Inviting me in. I love that. Or like letting me cook. Like I love cooking for people. So yeah, I like that. But then also too, it's like knowing things about my life to a degree as much as I can. I'm not going to expect all my pregnant or like married and like with kid friends to know everything about my life, because you have not only your life and your baby's life, but your husband is like someone in your life that you also are very intertwined with. So it's like, I don't know.
I just think like two things can be true. Like it's like, I think you can have that joy and excitement for your friend in that new stage, but I do think it's like fair to feel grief or to feel like that feeling of like, okay, like when can I be like, I don't think that it can just coexist, like those feelings.
But I also feel like too, as like our chief like married friend, like there's never a part where it's like, you know, that how we feel about this, because like obviously we share, but like there's never an ounce of pity in your stuff when you're like, when we're talking about things. Like I think that too is like, nothing is worse than like a married person being like pitying you and like being like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that is like, I'm like, just talk. There's so many things in my life is so full. Like, let's talk about fun things. Like, I don't need the main thing to leave the night being like, oh wow, they really think that I'm behind. Like that's what I leave thinking. And I've never felt that with you or Ty. And I think that that's like that's just like not the type of people you are. But certainly I can leave situations where I'm like,
places.
Oh yeah, they think think XYZ about that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I just wonder if it's like that. Like there is that like give and take, you know, where it's like somebody is like a new mom and it's like, yeah, like I want to come over and I literally want to hear everything. Like, how was labor? How are you feeling? Are you sleeping? What can I like want to like be sacrificial and serve in that way? And then it's like also like there are times where it's like, I do want to feel seen by that friend too, you know? So it's like, how is your XYZ or something like that? And I feel like there is a level of friendship that like we've all kind of talked about where it's like, they will still like know that. And it's like, I wouldn't even want like somebody that's like a new mom to like come over and like do something for me.
Yeah.
It's more of like like literally how you said it, how are you, or I miss you, like those texts, like that, like on my end too, like it's nice to feel like seen in that of like, oh, I miss you, and like I've been thinking about this interview you have this week, or I've been thinking about your podcast, or I had
this Bible verse that popped up that made me think of you.
Like,
I saw this cute book, have you read it? Like literally, you know what I mean? It's like you still know me as the friend, and like it's like while you can have this amazing life moment that I'm so proud of you for, like the little moments are also life. And like I think that's acknowledging both.
Yeah. Does that make any sense?
Oh my gosh.
That
answer.
Like when
I know.
It's so good.
When I was talking about being single, I'm like, do not ask me how dating is going.
No, I get that.
Yeah. Coco, what is something you're really excited about?
Right now, I just finished. I'm like reading a lot recently, and then I'm like really into working out.
Let's go.
Yeah,
How
so
fun.
I've been doing like a lot of like workout like classes, and then also been doing like honestly this podcast, and then like I've been doing stuff for CrossFit. I've been making clips for them, so it's like
cool.
I've just been enjoying like different creative outlets. So it's like that's like the thing of like let's talk about that. Like that's or like I can talk about my church group and my like community until I'm blue in the face. Like I love that. But yeah, that's just like the classic, like whenever you catch up with old family members and they're like, is there wedding bells? And I'm like, no.
Yeah. I feel like in every season of life, there's always a next step. When I was single, it was like, well, when am I going to get married? And then you get married and it's, well, okay, I got pregnant before I got married, but but you get married and then they're like, when are you gonna have a kid? And then you have a kid, and like there's just like
When's it
all,
about one?
when are you gonna get a house?
Yeah.
Like there's always something, and so I was like really struggling with like always feeling behind, you know? And so it's like so interesting that in every season of life, it's like so what's the word? Like it's just like such a common experience. Yes. But I was reading, this was a couple of months ago, and there was a line in scripture, and it just said Jesus started his ministry at 30. And we've read that. We know that. And I like went back and I read it again, and I was like, Jesus started his ministry at 30. And I was like, oh my word. Jesus started
his ministry
at 30. And it's not to say that there's like a number. It's like 30 is the age, and that's when you have to start. It's like, yes, there were bits and pieces of his childhood that's mentioned in scripture, but that's not like so much of the focus. But Jesus took 30 years to prepare. And it was important.
And it was God's timing.
And it was God's timing. And that was so affirming to me that it was just like, even Jesus, who knew exactly what he was called to do, and he had the wisdom. He's Jesus. Like if he wanted to start at 10 years old, like, you know, he could have, you know? And so that was so comforting to me that I was just like, holy cow. Like, the Lord is using this foundation that we're all creating in every single season and every single area of our life. And it doesn't diminish the grief or the excitement or just like the sadness of not being in a specific season. Like, I think that's 100% valid. Like, it's so valid. And also, it's like, Jesus didn't start his ministry until he was 30. And I was just like, yes! I was like, praise God. Because
so true.
Like, I want my podcast to be blown up, and I want to have my retreats, and I want to have my like full-fledged therapy and all of this. And I've been realizing recently I put so much urgency on every single thing that I'm doing. And it's like, oh my gosh, when? And it's like, oh my word, I'm doing really good. I'm like pursuing the things that I've wanted to pursue. I have a beautiful family. I'm like, I feel like I'm coming into myself, and I have never taken a step back and been like, wow, I'm proud of myself. You know, I'm proud of like where I am, and I don't have to always be looking for it. Yes, have goals, have visions, work on the podcast, start the thing, just like start messy, start ugly, whatever. But like, we don't have to put so much urgency on our lives.
It's so true. And I think that's such a good reminder for me too, because I think we fall into this trap too, where it's like, once I get here, like I finally will not feel that sense of urgency. And it's like, that's also not true. Me and Aaron were talking in the car yesterday on the way here of, I'm sure that there's people that I would like, I'm like, oh, I want to be where you're at, but they're like, oh, but I want to be where they're at. And I've heard somebody say too, like, all of us are sitting in somebody else's answered prayer, no matter like what it is. And like to reflect on that of like gratitude I've been in therapy and like really trying to focus on like what I have and instead of what I lack right now. Because I just feel like I've just experienced like just loss in a general sense in like the past like couple of months. And I feel like when you fixate on that, that's what you just start to feel is like, I lack in these areas. And I think instead, that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I want to talk about your mornings and the meditation and the thought life, because that's what I've really been trying to do in my mornings is practice. Like, what do I have and what has God given me in this, like right now that I can be like, I'm proud of this. I'm so grateful for this. Not like, oh, you know, all the time, not to diminish, like you said, the there is grief and there are things that like you can be sad about that. That is good.
And you can like, you're allowed to wallow in that too. Like
1000%. But then there's just a point where also like, let's not do that forever too. And like,
there's a time
like,
and a place. And then ultimately like look at the joy. And I love that perspective of like, not even other people's answered prayers, but like I have an answered prayer right now. Like I'm living in an answered prayer of mine that sometimes I forget that I prayed for it.
Yeah.
I wanted a dog for years.
Yeah.
And,
You
like, you know
wanted,
what I mean?
like,
I wanted.
You dreamed of like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
or,
like it's like
bigger
this is
apartment.
we're
Yeah.
doing. Like I have a job that I love. Like I'm creating content with friends. Like you know what I mean? Like my brother told me something really wise the other day. It was like he just got a new job and it's like it's the new job and it's like the new job anxiety of feeling like, oh, I don't know anything and like tired and whatever. And he's like, but like the anxiety and like the burdens that we feel now are answers to prayers that we did have. And I was like, oh, that's a really good, or like my sister-in-law being tired from having a baby. Like that, that's a really real thing. But it's like, but we prayed for a baby.
Yes.
Right.
And she's tired because of an answered prayer. Like, so it's like reshaping it. It's not to say like you can't have those moments to lament and do those things, but also like we think of David in the Psalms, like he laments and then he praises God because he's good. So
I also think it's like, not that it like makes anything better, like takes away from like a feeling you have about like not being in a certain season or something, but like you and Josie both have like shown up really well for like people, like whether it's a bachelorette or it's like my mom dying or whatever it is. And so I feel like it's like, just know that like it's like you're gonna have so many people down the road when it's like you are getting like you are dating, like when you have a boyfriend or like you're getting engaged. Like I do think you guys have shown up for people so well that like down the road people are gonna just like turn around because they're gonna be like, if they are already married or if they're doing whatever, it's like they're not in that season of like milestone whatever, so they're gonna turn around and be like, oh my gosh, like we're throwing this big engagement party for you. Like you, like I just feel like that the way you guys have cared for other people and celebrated them is gonna like come right back to you, whether that's a year from now or 5 years from now, like
10 years from now, who knows?
I don't know, but like when it does, like, I'm like like just know that I feel like people will like return those favors because they're not gonna forget like the ways that you've like celebrated them too. Totally. So
that's totally
it'll come, which that doesn't take away from like the wanting it now,
but
like
that's sweet to
desiring
hear.
it.
Yeah, appreciate
like,
that.
I feel like too, Josie and I have talked about how like I'm like, when it's your bachelorette party, like our friend group hasn't had one in a while, so I'm like, people are gonna be like
So stoked.
They're gonna be like, let's
Get the
go.
doll out.
We almost had so many like boom 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 that like it doesn't like that doesn't kill excitement, but like it's just like, oh my gosh, another one. So like when yours comes and there's been a period of time, people are gonna be like, a bachelorette.
Plus,
Like,
people are gonna have money.
Yeah, that's what we've talked
They're
about.
buying a dog.
I'm making y'all go to like Dubai.
We've said that we're like Tahoe, where are we going?
Done.
We will be. Yeah. So, anyways,
Any last thoughts?
I just have to do like a plug for a book.
Yes, please.
Literally one of the best books I've ever read on friendship. It's called Fighting for Your Friendships, and it's by Danielle Jackson.
Okay.
There's a longer name. It's like Fighting for Your Friendships. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, seriously.
And it was one of the most, I don't know if it's from a Christian perspective, but I've started to learn that yes, there's evil and don't partake.
Right.
And also there's like some really amazing truths in there's just wisdom out there. And so I feel like I was able to take what she was saying and like pour it through a Christian perspective.
Totally.
And it was so reassuring that my female friendships and the way that I look back at my friendships throughout the years, and I was like, it's like she wrote the book for me. It was insane.
Oh, cool.
She talks so much about how like female friendships shift every 7 years, and how when seasons shift, whether you're getting married or starting a new job or moving to a new location, like your relationships are going to shift. And she was the one that talked so much about like the expectations that we put on friends and like the depth that we're able to have. Like Zach will go golfing for 8 hours with a friend and he'll come home and I'll be like, oh, like how's his wife? How's this? And he's like, literally no clue.
Right.
And I'm like,
Tyler does that too. I'm always just like, what did you talk about the whole time?
Like what?
Fortnite emotes.
Like, oh my word. So like with friendship, it's like, oh my word, we spent an hour and a half together and I know more about you guys now than I
about
than he knows about his friends.
No, it's so true.
So there's so much beauty, but it really helped in like me showing so much more grace in my friendships and grace to myself, knowing that like when friends are no longer close, like it's not either of our faults.
No.
You know, there's an ebb and a flow and there's priorities and values and maybe they don't align anymore. And they did. They did once and that's beautiful and those are beautiful memories and it's okay to continue on your trajectory.
Totally.
So highly, highly, highly recommend.
And to go off so like for the Let Them book, like it's all about like first like let them do what they're gonna do. Let me then decide how I'm gonna react to it. And then like
Yeah.
for myself, I did like the let God. And
Yes.
granted, that would be the first thing of like let God work what he's gonna work, and then
Yes.
let the people do the thing. But I think that's a really healthy way, because like ultimately, if you boil down what people do as the wisdom, like if you look at let them, like you can't control other people. That is from the Bible.
Done.
Like, you know what I mean? Like ultimately, when you boil down worldly wisdom, their core principles come back to like biblical like stuff. So it's wise to like have that filter. But like I think it's a good way to look at stuff of like when you're reading things, and you're like, oh, wait, that kind of makes sense. Like trying to see if there's a biblical way to look at it. Try to see if that's a literal biblical teaching. If you're like, I really want to make sure it's rooted, but there's always a way to bring it back to God.
For sure.
Yeah.
You always can. Totally.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're not going to do pop culture just because we've been yapping away like four gals on a couch would.
No, exactly.
And we're going to go figure out Ollie's like morning meditation so we can do that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm
together.
going to sidebar with Ollie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at 3ps.podcast. Full video episodes are on YouTube and Spotify. And then, yeah, if you have any other like suggestions or topics you want us to have experts come in on, let us know. And then Ollie, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and my website. It's Dirty Laundry with Ollie across all platforms. Reach out, email, message, whatever. If you want to come on as a guest, I would love to have you. This was fabulous.
This is so fun.
Yeah, this was so
A
fun.
great conversation to start this Saturday morning.
Yeah.
right?
Our little
I feel
Valentine's
so
Day.
like filled up now.
Yeah.
No, I know,
seriously.
it's so good.
It's
I
so
love
good to
it.
be
We'll
back
have
on the
to do
mics.
this again.
I would love.
This is
Look for
the
future
first one
collabs.
that
Yeah.
Keep
Get
your
ready.
eye out.
All right.
Love.
Well, thanks for being in the group chat. We'll see you soon.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's
Oh.
Day. Bye.
Bye.